Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Bitcoin price prediction based on Elliott Wave analysis. This is a daily for Bitcoin, the first daily in the 2026. We're gonna see what we are expecting for this new year. Of course, I wish you all a happy new year and a fresh start. So let's start on the daily here, where we have our bull run finished potentially as a wave 1. We have, of course, 5 waves, impulse perfectly finished, and we have, of course, a followed A, B, and a C potentially unfolding here as an expanding flat. Now, the wave C, of course, is a little bit a question mark here. Is it gonna be the impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5? Or it's gonna be an ending diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So, of course, two possibilities, but two different psychologies that it might unfold, of course, for this wave C. Currently, based on this base channel, where we can see, of course, the price exiting the base channel, the yellow one, as a signal, of course, of a finished bull run here. Higher possibility that we have finished the bull run and we started, of course, to push for something for lower. And obviously that this wave C is still unfolding. Now, what is very evident to mention in this wave C, the new base channel taken here from the wave 1 and based on the wave 2, we can see the price exiting a little bit the base channel and then entering again, and of course ranging above the middle line. This is also a question mark again for an impulse. Is it an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5? If the price will exit the base channel here, and we're very close for it, by the way, if we exit the base channel again, that is of course a very clear signal that we are not continuing an impulse towards the downside here. It might be something else, which is of course the wave 2 here for a diagonal, that it might even test again the old base channel there and taking the invalidation of anything impulsive, because you are in double 1, 2 here, wave 3. Wave 4 is not allowed to interfere, of course, with the zone 1. If the price comes up and interfere with the zone 1 at 99k, that means, of course, invalidation of this impulse. This will transform into an ABC. Your wave C is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 expanding diagonal, and finished, of course, a zigzag here for a wave 1. You're looking for a wave 2, and then a zigzag wave 3, wave 4, and a wave 5 later on to reach the target as, of course, the common target for a wave C in this expanding flat bear market at 68, I would say, K for Bitcoin, very likely to be taken, especially that we have, of course, here a very strong area as a support. We're gonna see it, of course, next on the labeling here. So as you can see, this area is a very strong area, because not just the 1.618, the most common target for an ABC, but also it has reached the minimum target for a wave 2, of course, as a bear market, which is a 0.38 Fibonacci level. And in this case, of course, if we hit this area, we might also face a very strong hold area as a support here, technically, and then, of course, start to push toward the upside again for wave 3 after finishing this wave 2. By all means, you might have, of course, a wave 1 here, an ABC wave 2, and then continuation for Bitcoin towards the upside here. The wave 3, of course, might reach a very high price action. Of course, we might see again a 1.618, which it might reach the over or above the 200k here. So if we take, of course, the fib level taken from the wave 1, and let's say the 1.618 will be reached at least here in a wave 3, of course, you are expecting here at least let's say not logarithmic, of course, because the logarithmic is gonna be very huge, but we're gonna go in linear here at 211k 500. And this is a minimum target, of course, for wave 3 that it might unfold later on for and a 5 even for higher. Yep, so these are the possibilities for Bitcoin on the daily for this small bear market. The next possibility is, of course, the diagonal that we mentioned. This is the highest one, the highest possibility, where we might see, of course, as this diagonal unfolding as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and then pushing again, of course, for higher for the same target, the same scenario, but only different psychology, how we gonna, of course, reach this area. So I'm looking, of course, forward towards this diagonal wave 2. Invalidation, don't forget 99K600, meaning taking this price. That means, of course, nothing is impulsive anymore. This is a wave 2 there and not a wave 4. Wave 2 for the diagonal, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. The final possibility is, of course, when we break above this invalidation, which is, of course, above the 99K, 600, 700. And that means the structure that we are getting here is going to break the 1-to-1 fib level, meaning if breaking the 1-to-1 fib level as a zigzag wave 2 here, and we see continuation toward the upside, okay, this is an impulsive structure. And when we get an impulsive structure, well, we have to reconsider, of course, the bullish scenario with an unfinished bull run. And that means, of course, you might still get a new high here first as a diagonal, meaning 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5 here as an ending diagonal to take one more all-time high to finish up, of course, your wave 5. And then starting again a wave 2, of course, your wave 1, major wave 1 will be there, starting a new wave 2 and then pushing for higher later on. Of course, an ultimate bullish scenario will be even much more higher, meaning, of course, ignoring the diagonal and, of course, continuation impulsively towards higher prices. And that means, of course, this will transfer this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse toward the upside to double 1, 2. And then you are working here on 1, 2, 1, 2, wave 3, 4, and a 5, 4, and a 5. For a major wave 3 and then big 4 5s again to reply for this double 1 2. And that means, of course, Bitcoin is ultimate bullish scenario here, extreme bullish, following the moon, of course. But this scenario is still, of course, very far. We need to break a lot. First key level to break is the 99K700. The second key level is the 1-to-1 fib level. And then, of course, the third level is taking the high and breaking the 1-to-1 fib level taken from the wave 3 here for diagonal, meaning you want to see a wave 5 longer than wave 3 to invalidate the diagonal and shifting directly to a wave 3 in a very high impulse extreme bullish scenario. Yep, so these are the possibilities, how we're going to follow step by step. Now, basically, if we move to the 2 hours chart here, for the 2 hours chart, we are looking here at a diagonal, but this structure here is very complex. That's fine because we have decoded this complexity already, and it is unfolding perfectly with our scenario. So after the diagonal that we got here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, at least wave A, and it can be a wave 1. Don't forget that 70% when we get a diagonal, leading diagonal can be a wave 1, 2, meaning, of course, wave 3, 4, and a 5 impulsive structure, which of course can unfold something as a new high. However, because it is a very complex structure, it's still a question mark for a wave 2. Probably it is a wave B. So here it somehow increases the possibility for an impulse, but the wave here, the complexity that we got, of course, decrease it again and give higher possibility again for a wave B rather than a wave 2. Now, what it's gonna confirm that this is a wave 3 and not a wave C, well, is breaking the 1-to-1 fib level. When we break, of course, this area and we push for higher, well, reaching the 1.618, then we start to call a wave 3 potentially. It's, of course, still have a possibility to be an extended wave C as a zigzag. But, of course, if we, after a leading diagonal, if we get a wave 3 here, 1.618, the possibility is higher to be impulsive for an a 5 here for new highs for Bitcoin. Yep, so basically on this complex structure, guys, that we are looking at here, we have a W, X, and a Y. The wave Y is an A, B, C, D, and an E. And obviously that this wave D is still unfolding over there, right? So we got already an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a correction, wave B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 right now for a wave D. And this is exactly what I was expecting there for this wave D, and I'm still looking for a wave E here. So of course it's gonna extend a little bit in time here to finish a wave B over there, and then continuation toward the upside. Now, very essential and very important to mark here is taking the 90K 600. If you take the 90K 600 directly here without pushing lower for a wave E and then taking, of course, the high, if we push directly, be careful, it might be a trap. Of course, we might continue towards the upside. So to not miss, of course, the things, 90K 650 taking this high is an invalidation for the triangle. And that means, of course, as this area here is a finished wave Y in a truncated or complex structure for a wave Y, and then pushing, of course, impulsively here 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So to not miss, of course, the trade here, 90K 650, of course, is a signal that, okay, everything corrective is done here. We are in an impulse towards the upside. Okay, and then next target is definitely above the 95K, at least the 1-to-1 fib level. 98K 700, and of course if we take the invalidation, that would be a plus. Of course we might shift into a very bullish scenario then for Bitcoin. Yep, so that was it for the daily for Bitcoin. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye bye.